what would you say to people that leaving treatment and are worried about going back into their old life where maybe their friends all were alcoholics and addicts themselves, or at least there was a big drinking culture or partying culture, or they feel like they don't have any friends already and are going to be further ostracized by having gone to rehab. So what I would say is one of the groups that end up in rehab are people that have isolated. Their life has gotten so small that it's just them in their room using. And so that is not a great way to live. And so introducing them to the idea that there are thousands of people around the world just like them, and that are looking for friendship and connection and love and compassion and understanding, is a really exciting prospect for a lot of people that end up in rehab centers or in the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous or any 12-step fellowship. What I would say is people who leave their home and go to a rehab far away are already solving half the problem. They are removing themselves from the triggers and the situations and the relationships that they are so wound up in that are negatively impacting their lives, that when they are far enough away for long enough, they realize that those relationships were not helping them in the first place. A lot of the time, if they really sit down and think about it, those people are just drinking friends. Those people are just friends who want to use drugs together or go to festivals together and have that as an excuse to use drugs, whatever it might be. The phrase that we hear a lot of the time too is those that mind don't matter and those that matter don't mind. So the people in your life that you can identify as, if you could tell them that you were in rehab and really struggling right now, if you picked up the phone and called them at 2 a.m. and they'd pick up and listen, those are the people that you want to hold close. A lot of the time it's family. A lot of the time it's not. Some people's families are completely ostracized and are not even a part of the conversation. But if you have people in your life that you're able to talk to about these types of things, if you can count them on one hand, you're a very lucky person. Like, keep those relationships really close and foster those, and then build your life around that. Build your new life around a community of like-minded people. It's why we tell so many people that leave here to go, even if they aren't a fan of the 12-step programs. They're so readily available around the world, and it's such a great hub and source of people that are doing something about the addiction problem in their lives. That when you go and meet people there, chances are they're sober, chances are they're doing something about it, chances are they're having fun without using drugs and alcohol. They might go on trips around the world together. They might date each other. There's so many different things that, that come about by going back home and hooking in, connecting, plugging in, like the avatar, connecting into the universe of sober people that all support each other. And there's something about that, the connection that's built. A lot of the time when people come to rehab, it's so existential in nature. The problem feels so existential. Why am I here? I'm just drinking and using myself to death, and I'm just wasting my time. There's no light in the world. The world is so dark. All the news is always bad news. There's no hope. They don't feel any sense of hope. And with connection to other people, that's already half the problem solved. So they say a problem shared is a problem halved, right? If you share it with 20 people, you're looking around the room going, we're all dealing with the same sort of thing here. They might manifest in different ways, but we're all here for the same reason, and I'm not alone. And there are people whose sole purpose in life is to help other people find a way out. What an amazing revelation. There's this world behind, it's like peeking behind the curtain, in the Wizard of Oz or something like that, where you see like, oh, maybe what I thought this whole time wasn't really the case. It might not be true. So their whole world paradigm is shattered when they arrive at a rehab, but it at least provides the foundation to then build upon. And what we say when people leave is to really go hook into those meetings, even if you're not a huge fan of them, the fact that there are these support networks available all over the world, and then supplement accordingly with therapy, with medication if it's given by a doctor. Like, you don't have to do it alone. You don't have to do it cold turkey. You don't have to do it the hard way. You know, it's simple, but it's not easy. Because for alcoholics and addicts, they will try everything else other than do the thing that's right in front of their face. You know, maybe there's a way around this. You know, maybe if I try doing it this way, you know, I'm not like them. I could do this myself. That in and of itself is so backwards and so difficult to do. You know, it seems like the easier, softer way, but it's a much more difficult way. The easier way is to go, okay, I have a problem. I need to do something about it. What do people do about it that has already worked in the past? You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to go and design a whole new modality for Tim's way of living, Tim's life. There's already all these people's lives over here that they are, you know, we have staff members with 50, 60 years of continued sobriety themselves. Shows you they're probably close to 80 years old if they started at 20 or so, but they've lived, you know, much longer in sobriety than they did in active addiction. And their lives are incredible lives nowadays, you know. And if they had have ended that life 60 years ago, the ripple-on effects of that would be detrimental because of the amount of people they've helped pull out of the darkness, pull out of the depths of despair, you know, of terror, of bewilderment. It's such a powerful thing to experience firsthand when you see someone reaching back and pulling people out. And when people leave rehab or get into recovery, you get to witness that happening right in front of your eyes, is they themselves have become a vessel of hope. And the whole concept of the 12 steps is that it's basically a circle. You get back to step 12, and which is to turn around and reach back and help the still suffering alcoholic and addict. And that's a part of your own program. It's self-seeking and self-fulfilling in and of itself. It's what can I do today to help me? And the answer is help someone else. Because a lot of the time it gets you out of your own head, your own problems, which seem all-encompassing and so impossible to overcome, that the last thing you want to do is pick up the phone and call someone else that might be struggling with alcoholism or drug addiction. But that's the answer, is to turn around and say, what can I do to help someone else today? Because it takes you out of your problem. It really minimizes the negative aspects of your own issues. A lot of the time, other people's problems, you wouldn't trade for someone else's problems. When you can see it for what it is, you go, actually, my problems aren't that bad, you know? And so with time in recovery, with, you know, doing a program or seeing a therapist, a lot of the time people are able to look in that mirror and see what their part in everything is, and then turn around and try and help other people. So that is such a powerful thing to witness every day, you know, as part of what we do at a rehab center.